Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Catwater Flame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran, Terra, Shadowfront. I'm John.
I wasn't sure if you didn't remember the name of the game.
I always remember the name of the games that I run.
That makes one of us.
I didn't say I remember any of the other ones. I'm John. I'm your game master for the evening. I'm joined today by William.
Hi, I'm William. I'm playing Valda Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai, who is apparently looking at a blank white screen right now.
I know, mine's all black. I don't know.
Restart?
Refreshing.
I'm also joined by Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Titania Valkorian, the Ladrin Druid Princess.
How many of you noticed that they were in the wrong places?
I'm not looking at the Twitch stream, so I don't
just
know what
turned
places.
it on. I think myself, and Jeremy are the only ones that are correct, unless you started with us.
Me, myself, and Jeremy.
Now, you guys were in the right spot. I just... Valdeth and Titania are so interchangeable that
One's a druid, one's a samurai, but okay.
It's a joke.
Basically it's the same.
1/2 dozen of the other.
Yeah, 6 foot of one, half of that of the other.
We're both like 5 foot.
I was about to say, neither of us are that tall.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I am playing a character with many names. And I can bet, I have problems remembering my own game names sometimes. So at the moment, I'm trying to remember what my character's name is right now. Drissa. Nope, Drissa. That is the character's name right now. Warlock of Galadir.
And Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm playing Ithram Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard.
And as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights and human rights, fuck the police, and the GOP in general. Because...
I do like the implication of that statement that the police are entirely encapsulated within the GOP.
Yeah, I mean, aren't
like they're just a subgroup of the GOP.
Is that incorrect?
I mean...
Shall we move on?
When last we left off, shit went down.
Yes. No. Did it?
Yes.
Because I don't... What shit went down?
I don't know. The city's burning over there, so...
Well, Taram is currently...
on fire.
Taram is on fire. Well,
Yeah, but that was like a couple
populated
sessions
by
ago.
fire.
That's old news.
And the Weaveborn district teleported out of Taram,
Yes.
which happened
remember that.
last week. And then Titania's mom teleported her house out of Taram as well, to across the street from the Steelhearts company house. They had a dinner where Titania didn't sit next to either of her fiancés. Still thinking about those rings.
You're not giving me time to remake them, you fucking...
Whose fault is that?
Yours.
I didn't make you hand a rock to a god. Yeah. So, Ithram, you were planning on casting a spell in the morning, I believe. Because all that happened yesterday. It's now tomorrow. That was yesterday's problems. Let's look forward to a brand new day with brand new problems.
So yeah, he was going to cast legend lore with the. Let me just double check the what I have to ask about.
200 gold worth of incense.
Yeah, I had
Thank
one charge left. I have the ivory strips; those don't get consumed. But let's see. Okay. So it says to describe a person, place, or object. I'm gonna try for possible place entrances to the infinite library. If that's a thing.
Okay. You're trying to glean how to get to the infinite library, basically.
Yes.
So, I guess technically you would be doing legend lore on the infinite library, because like the door to the infinite library wouldn't really be a trigger.
Yeah, no. So basically I just threw it in chat. Current tales, forgotten stories, or secret lore that has never been widely known.
I believe you've cast legend lore on. Actually, have you ever cast
Not
legend
on
lore on the
not on the infinite library,
infinite
no.
Or
No,
the
just a
true
shit ton of
library.
times.
The true library. That's it.
True library. Okay.
Yeah, the true library. So the true
Pennsylvania, so the infinite corridor is
the
still in my
true
head too.
Yes. So the true library is a demi-plane within the astral plane. The only you learn that it is the repository of all magical knowledge within the multiverse. So every spell that has ever been created, cast, discovered, lost, found, or imagined exists within the annals of the true library. There are angelic beings that guard the library and act as its keepers, as the librarians. And very few people have ever set foot inside the true library. Most discover a shade or a shadow or a version of it. Because it is a multiversal structure, that means there are multiple versions of it. And no two versions are the same. So no one's really sure, and your legend lore doesn't reveal, where the true library is. But even a shade of infinite knowledge is still a lot of knowledge.
So it's a demi-plane, though.
It's a demi-plane within the astral plane. So in order to get to it, you'd have to get to the astral plane.
Okay. All right. I just had an idea. So, all right.
Unless you had like a specific item from the true library to use for plane shift, but you don't.
Nope, I don't. But I do have an idea now. So, all right. That's how I spend my first 10 minutes of morning.
The rest of you slowly come to consciousness. Eventually. There's a loud bang and whiz as something goes off in the workshop.
Who was that?
And it's working on something probably.
There's a thud in the wall of Titania's room from the outside, and just a call of "Pardon me."
What?
Or it's medic.
No, that was Gant, not Merrick.
Okay.
I look outside to see what happened.
There's a grappling hook that looks like it hit the wall next to your door that is slowly being reeled back down the hallway towards the workshop.
Oh boy.
Scratching the floor the whole way.
Alright. Well,
Red-haired head pokes out of whichever room.
Yeah, you see it going past because
Ended up
it's
in.
on the hallway that the guest rooms are on.
Is everything okay?
Yes, Valda says, emerging from the room.
Very well. Head pops back inside and door shut. Comes back out maybe 10 minutes later dressed.
Oh, we've got things to do today.
Wonderful accommodations. Thank you.
Glad they're to your liking.
Yes, quite nice. Better than definitely some places that I've been. Do we have an agenda? Or you have an agenda? Something? There are agendas
Yes,
to be
there are
had?
definitely things to do.
Yep. We have to decide.
Well,
Planning.
one plan. More details need to be gathered about one plan before we can act on it because we don't know how many coins we're going to need. So we got to wait for details to come forth on that one, which means the other plan we can probably focus on for the moment.
Lich.
Yeah, we can probably focus on that one for right now.
Right.
Find that phylactery before the lich comes back to life and decides it's pissed at us.
Right. You have a lich situation.
A lituation.
No! Why must you keep doing these things?
Because portmanteaus
maybe-
are great.
Or maybe the lich has a situation with us. Right. Okay. So we need to get back up north.
I believe the best plan we put forward there was for Ithrim to teleport us back to the Druid Island and you to windwalk us across the channel because that's the closest we've ever been to that region.
Yep. Can do.
Ithrim.
Yep.
Do you burst forth from your bedroom with glorious purpose?
He has been in the arcane workshop. He's the first one awake. So
I didn't know if you were doing it in your bedroom or the arcane workshop.
No, he's doing it in the workshop. That's where all the supplies are. And he'll, if they're in the kitchen or not kitchen, the dining room, he'll come in about this time. I may have another option that we could search for a way to deal with this. We can make it to the astral plane at some point. There may be a way to access the true library.
Do we have a way to the astral plane or any inkling of where within the astral plane this true library is?
It's a demiplane on the astral plane, so theoretically should be able to access it from anywhere.
If you know how to get into the demiplane.
Correct.
Do we know how to do that?
There are spells that would allow us to do that. I'm currently working on one such spell.
I can plane shift, yeah. If we have a day, but we need
there,
like a
yes.
fork.
Yes.
Or maybe a spoon.
Something attuned, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys are stuck. Go.
The demiplane requires, I believe, a different spell to access once on the astral plane.
Okay.
Called demiplane. It is just another option, something we may be able to figure out while we deal with Drivor. And their
Is this spell something that will let you get into a demi-plane you've never been to before?
I believe so. As I know of it, this particular spell doesn't require anything specific from it, just the knowledge of it.
Oh, there's a plan at least, but do you have that spell available to you?
Well, like I said, it is one that I'm currently working on.
Hmm.
But like Titania, I also have the plane shift spell,
So
should we need.
that's another plan that will need further development first.
Okay.
So I think for the moment, the only plan that we've got enough to actually act upon is our one to deal with the Lich.
Yes. What was that thud I heard across the house earlier? Is everybody okay?
Yes,
Grappling
everyone's
hook.
fine. Yeah. Gent
Ah.
working on projects.
That's the noise that he was making.
There's a sizzle, crack, and pop of like a lightning strike that comes out of the workshop.
Gent, are you okay?
It's the smell of ozone.
Gent! Valda goes to check on Gent.
Go into the workshop. There's a blasted section of the floor and no Gent.
Fucking
Gent?
Gent!
There's another flash of light, and Gent is there at another section of the floor, holding like some weird device with crystals stuck into it. Looks over. That didn't work how I thought it would.
What did you just do?
I'm trying to create a personal teleporter. It just sort of blew up the room and blinked me out of existence for a moment.
Can I look over the crystal embedded thing that he's got in his hand real quick?
Sure. Investigation check.
All right. Natural 1 for an 11.
There's tech in there. There's magic in there.
Did you get that design from the Is It?
Yes.
No wonder.
Sorry, I'm just occupying the mind.
In any event,
Cool
Ephraim, did
idea.
you manage to find any information on the kingdom whose ruins we need to find?
No, not.
Haven't looked.
No, I spent my morning researching the library.
Mhm.
I can.
Fair enough. But any information we can get on that place will make it easier for us to locate what
I
we're looking
believe
for.
I already.
Did you already
cast
do that? I
Legend-
don't remember.
Yeah, Legend
Yeah,
War
you
on
did Legend
Iskorva a
War.
couple times already.
That's right. Yeah, on the Forgotten Empire. Oh,
You just didn't.
this
You just didn't
weird
get a
part.
lot because it's a forgotten kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even Forgotten lore is known by Legend lore.
That's, yeah, forgotten stories right there.
Yeah. Forgotten stories, not forgotten accurate information.
And that's fair.
Uh,
But nonetheless, we've got a general region and some ideas of what we're looking for, so nothing left to do but to begin the search.
let's see.
You always take some time, recuperate, build a teleportation circle in your backyard.
It takes a whole month.
We have, at this point, I think 5 days.
Let the
Only
lich come to
5?
you. And the demons.
5 days until the
Until the Lich
they re
reconstitutes.
yeah.
Yes.
yes.
I don't really feel like fighting that thing again.
Neither do I.
So let's.
Get rid of the phylactery. Are we ready to go? Does anybody need supplies?
I'm ready.
I believe I have everything I need.
All right.
Do you have cold weather gear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
How cold are we talking about here?
It's very north.
Northern Yuskorva, just south of. I don't have the world map.
Yeah, but it was way up there. It's
Yeah.
It should be good.
Have you ever been to Desolation?
I have not.
I was going to say, imagine that, but ice. Just as a reference point.
I will take the name as a good example of what I would expect if I visited Desolation.
Yeah.
It's fairly accurate, yes.
Just south of
Delightful.
Gilladera.
Just south of Gilladera.
Which is the roof of the world.
Yep.
So we're just shy of the North Pole.
Wonderful. But what, having not been there, do we know what the people are like?
Not likely.
Can we find out?
You have that kind of magic? I don't know.
Is it located within a book somewhere that we can reach?
Oh, well, I mean, we do have my uncle.
Just saying,
Other uncle.
if we're going into a foreign area, it usually is a good idea to learn the local customs,
You can see is the
the
library.
laws, so we don't accidentally do something that gets us hung or whatever
Hanged.
creative use they hung. I said what I said, God. Or whatever creative method of execution they employ in that particular area. Also, it might be a good idea to know what creative method of execution they employ in that area.
Aye, but I don't know that. Well, unless your uncle knows anything immediately, Titania. I don't know that
I
you got a
was
whole
saying the
lot of.
library and core, you know,
Oh yeah,
Salzbach.
Solzbach.
I could take us to Core.
Do you have a teleportation circle there?
I have the coordinates, yes.
That might be a good detour for the first few hours of the day. See what we can find out about the region.
Sorry, you said uncle, and I was like, Dorian?
No. I just vaguely remember that he was like,
Uncle
Great-
Salzbach,
great-uncle,
Uncle
yeah.
Salzbach Valkorian.
yeah.
Jack Salzbach Valkorian is the third born of the God Emperor.
There we go. No, it might be good to.
Did you know your older brother's a jackass?
Yeah, I might
Yes.
talk to him about that. But, you know.
Why do you think I'm a skeleton?
Ah, listen, I don't know this lore, so I want to talk to him. Anyway.
We'll never pass up a chance to visit that library again. If we would like to go there, I can still get us to that library and to Sharkmouth Bay.
And to Sharkmouth Bay.
Okay.
That's probably a good plan. Let's spend a few hours trying to learn what we can about this place at the library and core, and then begin the search.
So, you teleport to Core. Sin, have you, or Jerisa, have you
Yes.
ever been to Core before?
Jerissa.
Jerissa.
Get my one of like 12 names that I've given you right. God damn it. No. That's a really good
You put the comma in the wrong place. Get one of the 12 names I told you right, God, comma, damn it.
Fair point. Yes, probably not as Jerissa. But yes, they've probably been there.
So, you teleport to Core. And it's slightly strange, because for as cataclysmic an event as you escaped yesterday, Core is very normal. People are going about their day. There's no darkened sky or demons flying through the air. There aren't bodies in the street. The wailing and gnashing of teeth is missing. It's kind of disturbing to understand that while, yes, the events of your homeland are tragic, once you get far enough away, they may as well not have happened yet.
This is more like it.
As you get out and walk the streets of Kor, the Kornite Rangers in their green cloaks maneuvering around the city, assisting the people as they need. The citizenry going about their daily tasks.
Once we arrive, Dressa will step at one moment. We'll step into an alley, just sort of out of the way of where, in general view of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take on Sun Elf, female form. Sort of a shortcut, like chin length, sort of over to one side hair. A little sallow for a Sun Elf, or High Elf, or whatever they're called in this realm. I will step back out.
The high elves, like sort of taxon, as far as taxonomy is concerned, they're high elves.
Right.
Sun elf, moon elf, etc. These are all cultural
Colloquial.
designations, as
Yeah.
opposed to like
Fair.
lineages.
All right, that's better.
Wait,
Shape changer.
cool.
Yes.
Interesting.
Sorry, Morgan knows this area much better. So,
So
Morgan?
Morgan.
yes.
All right.
So, the Steelhearts plus Morgan progress through the city, eventually coming to a familiar, squat, almost crypt-like building with dark stone exterior and large, blackened wooden doors.
All right.
Part. And I knock.
As you knock, nothing happens until a voice slowly, methodically rings out. What is your destination?
The Black Library.
No such designation exists. It's called the Black Archives.
Black Archives? Okay. Black Archives is.
I was just waiting for someone to say it, for like Ithram to go, the Black Archives.
I forgot the name too.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's been a while.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very well. Open the door.
Reach.
Reach. Door opens as you push it.
Black Library is a different setting.
Okay.
That's a 40K thing.
Okay, that's probably where I'm getting it from. Anyway.
It's also a Warcraft thing, isn't it?
No,
That's
the Black Temple.
That's it, yeah. And the Black Materia is Final Fantasy VII. Anyways. So the five of you enter into the Black Archives. Darkness takes your vision as you walk through the door. You hear it close behind you, but you can't see it close. There's, again, that sort of standard moment of weightlessness. And light pops into existence in the darkness as torches are lit, once again putting you into the vast archives of the Black Archives. Sitting, as ever, at the welcome desk in front of you, laying back in repose as if dead, there is a skeletal figure in a very nice coat and top hat with a variety of colored gems on rings on his hands and a few as paperweights on his desk.
Good morning, Jack.
The skeleton animates, setting its jaw back in place. Welcome to the Black Archives.
Well, this is interesting.
I
Is
see.
your first visit?
Yes, this would be.
4 returning guests and 1 new. Welcome.
Indeed.
I am the curator of the archives. You may call me Jack.
A pleasure.
As it is mine. So, brave adventurers seeking knowledge, what might I assist you with?
We're looking for the ruins of an ancient empire that spawned a lich in northern Uskorva.
Uskorvan ruins or Galadarian ruins?
It's on the border,
Ah, so both. Potentially.
theoretically.
Interesting. That section of the archives hasn't been traveled in some time. Is there anything else?
Lish's
my-
name is Rhyhor, so
Perhaps history on any notable mages throughout history in that area.
Rhyhor. He lets the name sort of like, it almost looks like he's tasting the name, but he has no tongue. Rhyhor. I don't think we have any literature on that particular individual. Must be a
Probably an
pseudonym.
alias.
Is it all just ruins up there, or is there a culture?
Oh, there's culture everywhere you look. Mortals are such enduring and survivable creatures. There are very few places where you will not find civilization on this great world of ours.
Then information about the culture up there. would be nice.
Galadarian culture, border culture with Uskorvans, northern Uskorvans. Likely some... Yes. There, we definitely have literature on that as well.
Delightful.
Anything else?
This one might be a bit more of a personal question rather than something asking for books. But information on the firstborn would be helpful.
You're going to need to
Ternalian.
specify. Ternalian. Large brother Ternalian. Yes. Well,
Hold on.
he is a little bit bigger. He sort of murdered the emperor and took over.
oh, refrigerator. Yes. Well, brother of mine was always an ambitious one. I'm not surprised. Yes, we have some writings of a personal nature on Ternalian Valkorian, which you can also peruse.
Perhaps also some information about soul coins and the 9 hells.
Infernal literature, one of our most popular subjects. Yes, we have a great abundance of that.
Look, or can't hurt to look while we're
It's
here.
probably worth researching as well, if nothing else.
Anything else?
I think that's our list for the moment.
So, he rolls his head. You can, for some reason, you imagine dice rolling around inside his eye sockets. There is nothing there, but you imagine this when he tilts his head.
Buffer wheels.
Yeah. For Galadarian and Yoskorvian culture, literature, and ruins, you're going to want to take 5 flights up, 1 left, turn counterclockwise, and take a right. For infernal literature, that'll be in the basement. Take your immediate right, take the stairs down 3 flights, and your first right after that. For powerful mages of the era and location, particularly specified within Euskurva, that will be a subsection D within the first section that I pointed you to. And for personal writings on Ternali and Valkorian, that will be take your first left, 1 flight up, 2 flights to the left.
Wait, hey, repeat that?
He does.
I take it Titania writes all of that down.
Yes, she does. She knows her weaknesses.
If you get lost, simply ask me for directions.
Okay.
Wherever we are,
Wherever you are.
wonderful.
Wherever you are, there I am.
Quite like this place.
Where do we start?
Can split up.
I guess I'll look through the ruins then. Stonework, sort of one of my fields.
Yes, I'll go through with you to look for the mages of note.
I'm
Titania.
gonna look up Tenalian.
And
I will go look up cultural stuff first.
so 3 of you in one direction, 1 in the other.
Yep.
You all follow the instructions that were given to you.
Before we go,
Go ahead.
I'm going to cast enhance ability at 4th level on myself, Titania, and Morgan for Fox's cunning.
Sweet.
Particularly not me.
I'll be in the same room with you.
Yeah.
And if you're looking up stone stuff.
3 of you heading to one location, the 4th to another. You follow the paths given to you. As you arrive at the locations indicated, each of you finds yourself faced with a bookshelf full of books that seem completely irrelevant to the thing you're looking for. And as you approach them, to your left, all of you, Jack appears. Welcome to the first 3. To our section on Galadarian and Euskurvian ruins, culture, and mages of note. And with a hand, he presses one of the books, and the bookshelf slides away, revealing even more stacks inside. Please do enter.
Jack, a question.
Yes?
How many other people are in here researching stuff at this particular moment?
None.
None in any version of the Black Archives are.
None in this version of the Black Archives.
There's the yes. That answers my question then, thank you.
The skeleton smiles at you.
The Black Archives is instanced.
Yep.
The 3 of you pass through the facade of the bookshelf, which closes behind you, and Jack is once again on your left, on the inside. So, shall I assist in locating particular books?
This section for myself should be enough.
Yes. So, the 3 of you can make investigation checks. Titania!
At advantage.
Mara left.
Are you assisting me, or am I just making an investigation check?
For the first hour, you're going to be on your own, I believe. Wow. Come on.
You know what? I've
Yell at
got
your
a
dice.
fucking inspiration.
Yeah, I guess I'll use mine too.
Investigation, not Arcana.
Same thing again.
Wow.
Cody. Investigation.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Not Arcana.
It's the same.
Titania.
But
Yes.
To your left, there is Jack Suttelsbach. Well, looking for the personal documentation, yes?
Yeah.
That's
Anything
me.
about him?
Through here. And he pushes.
Or if you know anything.
I know quite a lot, but it is bound in the books.
Oh, okay.
And the wall slides away. You are entered into a yet further maze of stacks that closes behind you. There's Jack next to you again. I shall assist you in your perusal. Make me an investigation check.
Sure. I get advantage on this, right? Yeah.
Yep.
For Fox is
I want to
coming.
point out that out of 9 rolls we just made, only 2 of them were above a 5.
Yep.
Natural 20, so 19.
Hate you.
So we have, so Jeremy, you rolled 9, and then on your reroll you rolled 10.
Yes.
You improved.
Yes, I did.
William rolled an 8, which makes it a...
If I apply stone cutting to it, that makes it 13.
I'm tempted to use the other inspiration I have, just because I refuse to lose to a book learning roll. Fuck it.
$23.
Victory!
Nice.
27
Only cost
from,
me 2 inspirations.
27 from Ithram, a 19 from Titania, and a 23 from Morgan. We'll start with Titania, because the other stuff will be longer.
That's fair.
Fair.
There's not a lot of writing on Ternalian in here. Most of it's anecdotal, most of it's story. Ternalian was always a powerful figure, always a proud figure, a leader of people, very charismatic, the sort of person to whom his allies look for inspiration and enemies cower in fear from. The only
standard.
The only problem with that perspective, though, is that he knew it. And as you read through, you get an idea of a man whose narcissism is only empowered further by the fact that he is perfect in almost every way. As you read, this is an individual who does heroic deeds with the same amount of effort that you plant stuff. Like, being incredible and powerful is in his genetics because he's the son of a god. There is not an insignificant amount of sort of like sibling jealous and sibling jealousy and irritation in the writing that you are getting. That sort of Marsha kind of attitude in the writing. But the writings do not deny the scope of power that he wielded long before. They also don't tell anything about him in recent centuries. The writings all end with, and then he vanished, with no clear indication as to where, why, or for what reason.
Do I get is this all about a specific date or
not a specific date, but a range
okay.
of years, like around 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. All documentation of Ternalian ceases.
Okay. Can I also look up about the God Emperor, the God Emperor's power, and what he might have gained from doing that?
There is no documentation on the God Emperor.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you seem to have discovered one of the limits of the Black Archives. You see, the Archives cannot know things that I do not know, and thus, well...
Did you never meet him?
Oh, I've met him plenty of times, but there's a difference between meeting someone and knowing them.
So this God Emperor was about the same as the 40k God Emperor when it came to raising his kids.
Yeah.
Or really any god, let's be honest, any god with a mortal, like a physical
Yeah.
body on the plains.
Yeah. Any god.
Child rearing is not one of their skills.
No, it really isn't. But yes, unfortunately, I have very little knowledge of the God Emperor because the God Emperor created me with very little knowledge of the God Emperor.
Mhm.
But if you read this passage here, you'll see where there's a story of Ternalian dunking his younger brother into a vat of acid, which burned all of his flesh off. That was a lovely experience.
That's horrible. I'm trying to find.
The skeleton smiles.
That's just horrible.
It was, yes.
Is that how you died?
I didn't die.
I know. How long have you been here?
The Black Archives have been my home for many thousands of years.
Did you exist someplace else before then?
I'm sure I did at some point, but all of my memories are of the archives.
Black Archives are Jack Soul's box brained.
Do you? Is that like? It's a small area. Well, it's pretty big. I don't know. Do you like it here?
Many an adventurer come to keep me company.
Fair, fair. Do you know what's keeping you undead?
Again, I'm not dead.
You're still alive.
Yes.
Kind of happens when you're immortal, but all your flesh gets melted away.
Huh. How'd you become immortal?
I was born that way. Yes.
Okay.
I cannot die. This is not an undead state. To be undead is to have died and been reanimated. That would have required me to die.
Yeah.
Which I have not done yet.
Sort of like how Deadpool can regenerate from a drop of blood, only he didn't regenerate. He's just still a skeleton.
Who's this Deadpool?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm also not in that section, so you've just got a random voice.
The lady we're with, well, the shape changer we're with, thinks there's a way. Someone told her there is a way to sever the divinity from someone, and we're going to use that to try and.
I'm sure there is such a way that exists. As the saying goes, all that lives must eventually die. And while we are immortal, we still live. Which means there must be some way to kill us.
Okay.
I mean, after all, Fernalian managed to kill the God Emperor.
Yep. Sure did.
And the God Emperor can't very well create something that is more unkillable than he was.
It was a bullet of some sort. I don't know what it did exactly, but sort of.
No, we know what it did. It shattered the box that was holding a shard of Eidos.
Yeah, oh, okay, that's true.
The shard of Eidos is really what killed him.
Yep. That's fair. That's fair.
All I had to do is find another one. Wait.
It might
At the
be
very
one
least,
around.
Eidos is out of the picture.
Eidos is never out of the picture.
Mhm.
So, you have your conversation with Jack. Meanwhile, in the other section, Valdeth. There's a surprising number of fallen kingdoms along the southern Galadarian, northern East-Corvin borders. It's almost like it's a hostile area where it's hard to live. Interestingly, as you read, most of these, only a small percentage of the civilizations were wiped out due to the environment. Most of them killed each other.
Unsurprising.
Though some scholars posit that they killed each other because of the environment, because resources are scarce. So you could technically point those deaths at the environment too.
You would be technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Morgan,
Yes.
you're looking into the culture that currently resides there.
Yes.
Primarily, there are two specific groups of people that live in the southern Galadarian, northern East-Corvin border region. One, there are a series of small frontier towns, each of whom are sort of stationed roughly a day's ride away from each other in the snow. So closer than a day's ride away from each other in, more temperate climates. They seem to make their primary trade by delving into the extensive and overlapping ruins that are in that border region. From what you read, the kingdoms didn't just build next to each other; they built over top each other. So many of the cave structures in that region are man-made because they were buildings built on top of buildings built on top of buildings. It's sort of become this strange frozen hive-esque structure of a series of ruins. And the frontiersmen make their living by delving into these places for supplies, resources, etc., and selling them to bits of research and pieces of interest to the people down south. North of the border regions in Galadera, there are a variety of isolationist enclaves that are people that have either through druidic magic or through hard work and diligence, have basically gone to one of the most remote places in the world to be left the fuck alone. And they don't like to be bothered unless you have a reason. And people don't often have reasons. Their favorite method of execution, since you were specifically interested in those, is stripping people naked and throwing them into the snow.
Okay.
Because eventually, nature will find a way.
Yep. Fair to say that people A leave people B the fuck alone as a rule.
They have a hive worth of ruins between the two cultures, and they like to keep it that way.
Is there a history of conflict between the two, though?
Yes. Primarily when their respective scavengers run into each other within the ruins.
Oh, they do. So they collide with each other in the ruins occasionally.
The vast ruins span the breadth of that area of East-Corva. There are coast to coast ruins.
Okay.
And so it's sort of like it's a man-made border that they fight within occasionally.
Right. Lineage makeup of demographics.
It seems the frontier towns cater to all varieties.
Okay.
The northern isolationists tend to mostly be entities of draconic ancestry. Primarily white draconic ancestry.
Kobolds, dragonborn, half dragon, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The kinds of people that aren't bothered by the cold.
Cool. That definitely gives me something to. Yeah, I will delve with, see if I can delve a little bit more into the frontier towns. Uh, Things that they're looking for, things that would make it easy to interact with, assimilate in, um, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go in like super specific, but like they're looking for phrases that common phrases that
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
unique to the area, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you find it. With
Okay.
you rolled more than high enough to find that kind of thing.
Cool.
It's
Yeah, once they have a very strong grounding in Iskorven northern border town
dialect.
society.
Have you ever watched Letterkenny?
No.
Go watch Letterkenny. You'll get an idea of the dialect.
Well, I'm not going to do it now, but
not right now. But
fair enough.
it'll give you an idea of how people talk in these frontier towns.
Right.
Ithram,
Yes.
there are many legendary mages that have lived, and not an insignificant amount of them came from Uskurva.
Yeah.
The difficulty that you're finding is that you're pretty certain, as you're reading about the northern Uskurva and southern Galadarian border, you're pretty certain that phylactery is probably somewhere within those ruins.
Yeah.
You're not certain where, and you don't have really enough details to go into to find anything specific about Rhyhor.
Well, if there's that many mages, he's going to try to focus on ones that weren't. Well, no, they rose to power.
Yeah, because right now you're sort of stuck between about 13 different powerful mages that came from the northern Uskurvan region.
Were there any that disappeared suddenly or unexpectedly?
Most of them, with annotations saying such is the way of dealing with dangerous magic.
Yeah. Any that were known for specializing in necromancy?
Fewer. You sort of narrow it down by necromancers, and there are five necromancers specifically over the course of 10,000 years that came from Uskurva.
Okay.
Or northern Uskurva specifically.
Were there any that also liked any of those necromancers that had a personal fortress, something matching like what we found on Exter?
Nothing that's been written about.
Okay.
But you've been narrowing it. You can continue to narrow as you like.
Yeah. Let's see. Were there any that were also royalty already?
No. None of them
No?
were. Two of you are also there while he's going through this, so if you wanted to throw out additional potential modifiers, you could.
So, you looked for necromancer specifically. What was the next modifier you tried to delve with?
If they were royalty.
Any royalty
beforehand?
Nope.
Yes, because they had a contingent with them. And
so there's also a significant amount of a lot of mages, especially necromancers, keep to themselves, and they might be powerful and legendary, but they just want to stay in their tower and be left the fuck alone. are you able to narrow down those necromancers by got involved in major politics, whether they were royalty or not?
3 of them.
Did any of them have a particular fascination with Eidos and remnants of or relics?
None in specific, no.
Okay.
Was there anything particularly unique about this Lich as a person that stood out to you? In my experience, somebody who seeks that sort of power will hide much of who they are for much of the time, and then once they have attained it, it is their first chance to be free. So they will tend to reveal a lot more than they otherwise would.
Well, here's a question. Are there records of like description of these 3 remaining?
Not physical descriptions, no.
No, okay. Like any, like even just an identifier of male, female, otherwise.
No.
Okay.
He didn't
Well, we've
move
got-
very much.
we've
Stayed
got-
in his chair.
We're down to 3 people. If we can get just what are the details we can find on these 3, and maybe something will stand out from what we can find to point us to
Indeed.
one.
Yeah,
Not
we can
bad
each take one of these necromancers and see if anything lines up with what we know of Rhyhor.
Which brings me back to my question: what do we know
Yes.
of Rhyhor?
Let's see. Oh, was there any that were known as the Graven Lord?
No.
No? Okay.
Familiar speaking pattern. Particular verbiage used.
Unique objectives.
Any that wanted to establish a kingdom?
As you're looking through the information, none that wanted to establish a kingdom, no. But one that escaped from a collapsing kingdom.
Okay, there's a line. Details on that one.
Was also the head of a legion.
So the one that was escaping this was several thousand years ago. This was about 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. There was the kingdom of Odor, Oldor, was in the verge of collapse. It was another one of these hive kingdoms that had been built up, and was eventually built over. There was amongst the notable figures that sort of escaped from that land in its final days. Was a young necromancer who went by the name of Gavus, Gavus. Eventually went on to make quite a name for himself, particularly in the sort of southern Eoskorvan adventuring game. Disappeared suddenly. No one knows exactly what happened to him, but it presumed dead. Looks to have died, like, based on the records you can find, probably didn't live much beyond his 30th year. But was renowned mostly for his control of the undead. Necromancer specialized in many things. He specialized in mass control, as opposed to making big things or making zombies or making like zombie golems or flesh golems or things like that.
Fits with the amount of creatures we encountered Onyx there.
And I mean, he had big things in his army, but it seemed like they were kind of individual objects within his army. Most of it was just a giant fecking horde.
Yes.
What about his any particular minions in this army that might be useful in helping track down?
He had several inside of his.
Does this Gavis
castle.
have any like associations mentioned that might identify some of the
also-
other?
Did any of those? Did Gavis travel with a musician that was also magically talented?
You do find tale of Gavis had a romantic interest, sort of a spurned love with a musician, with a very popular musician at the time.
There was a secondary lich that was focused on musical magics.
Mm-hmm. Although honestly, the name Rhyhor is kind of a step down from Gavis. I don't know why he changed to that one.
Naming is an interesting thing. You don't always want a name that makes you sound more impressive. It could have any number of significance to him, probably personal.
Also, it's a way to remain hidden. If nobody has records of a Rhyhor, nobody can find out how to deal with you or where you're originally from, like we're currently trying to do.
It's fair, but
The first thing I would assume you would do as a
Same
lich
time-
is hide your past.
Absolutely.
but still, we've got probably our most accurate representation so far, and the kingdom that it was from. Can I kind of narrow down the kingdom of Uldur
Yeah.
from what I found?
We just
Based on what you're looking at, you would estimate it to be one of the lower level hive kingdoms.
So we're gonna be diving down.
Yeah.
Can I get
How
details of
far-
what Uldorian architecture was like and how it was different from other kingdoms of the time?
Yeah, it's very gothic, very like sort of high gothic peaks with lots of spikes and gargoyles.
That matches what we saw in the keep.
Oh,
so
yeah.
yes.
and it'll help me identify when we hit Uldorian ruins. How large was the kingdom of Uldur? Like how far did it stretch in its peak?
At its peak, it stretched roughly half of the hive.
Okay. So, but he fled during its collapse.
Yes.
So about how large was it at that time?
It's hard to say. It was so long ago, and the ruins were just built upon.
Mhm.
So,
But kingdoms tend to collapse from the outside in. So we're probably looking closer to the center of the old kingdom of Uldur.
why can't
Outside holdings tend to be the first to fall, and it's the final central
far-
capital that falls last.
How far into the landmass are we gonna have to travel before we need to start diving? That's what
Sorry,
I'm
I'm-
start looking for.
for some reason I can't select a line there. Did I not draw that line?
That red line?
No, the blue line.
Are you on the right layer?
Yes. Side
On the token layer or the map layer?
Not on the token layer. It's on the map layer. It's not on the GM layer.
If it was on the GM layer, we wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Did Jack draw that line?
I thought I did.
Although you should still be able to delete it even if Jack drew it.
Yeah.
Which line?
Oh, there it is. Okay, I wasn't zoomed in enough to grab it for some reason.
Oh, the historical.
Yeah. All right, so the ruins of the Hive Kingdoms stretch from coast to coast and across the border of Uskurva and Galadera.
You said Old Door covered about half of that total area at one point.
Yeah. Of course, that was claimed territory. There's no way to tell how much of it was populated.
Right.
Yeah. But can we get a rough estimate of where Old Door was in that whole mass?
Yeah. So the estimations, again, these are not accurate because they're written by historians as opposed to the people that lived it. Are that the Uldorian kingdom stretched from the far coast of Uskurva to roughly halfway towards the other side.
Side.
The opposite side we're coming from.
Do we have any rough location on a capital?
No.
So we're going to be searching for the back half of the ruins.
Well,
We're going to be diving pretty far down. We might be able to... I doubt anyone's delved that far. But they might have, and we might be able to find someone who knows their way down there.
if we
Legend
Now
lore
that-
might
now-
be able to get us some more
yes.
information about Uldor, now that we know the
yes, now
kingdom.
that we know, I was about to say, we may be able to find the capital or the main seat of power at least when it was collapsing. Or perhaps even on the Scabbis themselves and figure out what happened to them. But yes, this is
So, having delved as much of the information as you can, the group of you meet back up at the welcome desk.
I believe one of us wanted to at least also look into the infernal information as well.
You have to go past the welcome desk to get to that anyway.
Right.
So,
I wanted to look for one more thing while everybody else was doing that.
okay, what were you looking for?
The construction and known last known users of mage blades on the continent that Desolation is located on.
Make an investigation roll.
All right. It's been more than an hour.
Yes, at this point. It's been
Okay.
several hours.
All right. Also 23.
The rest of you are... So, yeah. Valdeth, Morgan, and Titania meet back up at the desk. Jack never follows you, but he is always where you end up.
Delightful. I adore it.
Hello.
Hello.
Most non-threatening weeping angel.
Did you find things?
Indeed.
Good.
Cool.
Quite potentially useful.
What did you find anything useful?
A little. I don't know if it's useful, but more about him. So
That's anything is useful at this point.
where's this from?
doing some extra research. He'll join us when he's done.
Yeah, speaking of which,
Right. Our last destination.
indeed.
All three of you going to go study the Hells, or just Morgan?
I mean, Valdeth will at least go there.
I might go someplace else. Hang on.
While you do that, with the 23 Ithram, there is one mage. There's one known or mage blade of note on in Desolation. It is the blade that felled, or the blade that is said to have felled the Titan that rests across the ground. Its supposed location is somewhere in its skull.
Well, all right then. Okay.
This sword killed the Titan, and you're just gonna fucking leave it there?
Well, considering where it is, the wielder might not have survived killing the Titan.
Yeah. It doesn't say where in the skull it is. Maybe not the forehead, maybe in the roof of the mouth.
I got into his brain and stabbed his brain, and then died when everything fell down.
I mean,
That does seem to make sense.
There's only so much space between brain matter and skull, and you really don't want to be in there when it concusses.
imagine being inside a giant bongo drum as someone begins to do a drum roll.
Doesn't matter if 4 tons of beanbag chair hit you, it's still 4 tons.
Yeah. 4 tons of feather will still kill you. It'll just be a very big pile.
Very soft death.
But yeah. So yeah, that's what you find out about that.
Okay.
Morgan and Valdeth can make investigation rolls for the 9 hells and soul coins.
Now that I spent all my inspiration and shit on.
There's a good roll, fucking finally. 21.
I don't know why it rolled initiative, but that is also because I clicked initiative. That makes sense. But that is also the bonus for my investigation.
You gotta you really slow to start on the reading is the problem. Valdeth just went, and you're like, wait, no, book. So
that is a 9, not a 9.2 on my investigation.
9.2 on your investigation. Well, with a 0.2, you'll get slightly more than with a 0.1. Yeah. So, soul coins are so you basically know what you already knew. That soul coins are the physical embodiment of the soul that that fiends use to barter with each other.
Right.
Valdeth, you get that reiteration as well. You also sort of, as you're reading through, soul coins are more than just bartering tools. They are also a source of power, and that's both political and actual. Much like how a soul stone can power magic, soul coins can empower a devil. This is how they get to the point where they can do things like grant wishes that have dramatic effects on the other person's life, and for them gets them a soul coin. So like that sort of balance of, as you're sort of reading into it, like the power that they get from the soul coin far outstrips whatever they could grant by granting a wish. And they are very useful because if you own somebody's soul coin and they're not dead, you own them because you literally have their soul in your pocket. That sort of gives you the idea of like using these as like building materials could potentially be very powerful, because you're effectively taking the fuel source that devils use to grant wishes and turning it into a weapon.
There's a lot of raw power here.
Yes.
The sum total of a sentient being's existence condensed into a coin.
Yes. Well, the sole spiritual total of a sentient being's existence, because they can still live without. They can still live if somebody has their soul coin. You're not your soul coin being held isn't necessarily that you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that your soul is in somebody else's control.
Delightful.
And as far as the nine hells, like the nine hells, you get a sort of a basic intro to the nine hells.
The nine are the 9 layers all the same as they are in typical D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do learn that the 9 layers are that the 9 hells are multiversal. There are multiple different material planes, all of which feed into the same 9 hells, which probably explains why they have a large
So
amount
many
of soul
souls.
coins.
Yeah. Like, this world hasn't existed for long enough for this many soul coins to... Oh, that's why.
Yeah. That's what you do. Titania, where are you going?
She's going to ask and find about powerful druids. She wants to learn more. She might actually be looking for something to do, if it's in the same area, that staff that we know is being stared at with Eklund. I'm still curious.
Nothing about that staff comes up in your investigation
Okay.
of druids.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like it's a druid thing.
Okay.
As far as investigating powerful druids, I mean, you learn how powerful druids can get.
Okay.
The most powerful druids tend to live almost forever.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't a lot of notable powerful druids. Not nearly as many as there are wizards, because they don't tend to make names for themselves.
Yeah.
Typically, when you're talking about powerful druids, the information you acquire refers to like powerful druidic circles, places where they've mastered the elements around them to such a degree that civilization cannot take root or is rebuffed by the land itself. Places where the ground grows wild and almost as if it's alive, thanks to the ministrations of the druids there. You learn about these sort of wild places that exist in the world where theoretically there are powerful druids.
How does that relate to the royal forest? Is that in these lists, or is that something that this doesn't cover?
The royal forest is not in the list, no.
Mm-hmm.
The royal forest, the archdruid of the royal forest might be very powerful, but it's not. It hasn't dedicated himself to the same level of control that these other druid forests have.
Where is a very powerful circle near here?
The closest one to you, there is the living island of the Valkyrie Isles. It's out west.
Okay.
West of Sinisicare. There is the Living Isle, which is said to be an island that roams on its own. That is home to a druid grove that has basically animated the island.
Okay. All right, that was it.
All right. So a lot of you gather back together with newfound knowledge and potentially newfound goals. And that's where we're going to take a break. If you're watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. Remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, grab a drink, use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. A dinosaur story.
Again.
You're totally going to do that every single time just because we mentioned that one time.
I've been
We'd
saying
never
it.
heard it. I don't believe you, but I know you're doing it now.
It's the thing I've been doing. Anyways. We're back. Brackets, a dinosaur story. It just gets better as I repeat it.
Sure. Keep telling yourself that.
I hope you all had a good break. I ate pizza. It was good. I was hungry. So, are you ready to leave the Black Archive?
Believe so.
You all reconvene back at the welcome desk. Jack takes his seat once more. Well, I do hope you all return yet again sometime in the near future. Or perhaps have your bodies sent here when you die. Either way, I'll enjoy the company.
The first is likely, the second less so.
Wait, how does someone do the second? And how many bodies do you have here?
In this instance of the library of the archive, none.
How about
course.
in all of them?
Are they just bodies that are donated here just other receptacles for you?
No.
Interesting.
Are they animate?
Some of them.
If we asked to see those bodies as research, would that be a doable thing?
You'd have to exit and come back in.
I mean, fair.
Okay.
And there's no guarantee. Reinstancing is a
time.
bitch.
How
Long queue times.
many
How many what?
How many bodies?
I don't keep track.
I'm sorry, you have queued to research a DPS hero? Waiting a while. Would you like to research a support while you're here?
Can you talk to all of them? I'm very curious about this suddenly.
I can talk to anyone in my archive.
Okay.
That is amazing.
Can you say hello to some of them?
I already have.
Okay. Do you have, like, because you're in control of this archives, are you in control of them?
No.
Okay. Some of them you said are, like, reanimated.
Yes.
What did that? Did someone else do that and they're, like, stuck here?
They arrived that way.
Okay. And they're still, like, kicking around because it doesn't usually last forever.
He sort of shrugs.
I'm really curious about this. Okay. Can you leave the archives?
No.
Can they leave the archives?
They've never tried.
Can you try with one of them?
I'm not going to make someone leave the archive if they're comfortable here.
Okay, fair. Could you ask if one of them wants to leave?
I've never thought of it.
Well, now you've thought of it.
No, you've thought of it.
I know, but you're thinking about it now too because we've been talking about it.
That's not how brains work.
At the very least, it's not how his brain works, because I'm pretty certain we're standing in his brain.
Also, I don't have a brain, he says as he opens his mouth and you see straight to the back of the skull.
Because your brother is running around out there and it's not reached here yet, but it might.
I'm aware.
And then the archives will be in danger.
Yes, they would be. I'm certain some stalwart heroes will stop him long before then.
Possibly not, though, and it'd be a lot of help if we had some backup.
Unfortunately, I can't leave.
No, but you said maybe the bodies that are in here could.
Yes. Now tell me, how useful do you find a skeleton to be in combat?
They're pretty okay. I mean, they're not great, but It's better than nothing.
Is it?
Yeah.
What happened the last time you had a skeleton friend in combat?
They took some blows for us.
And?
It's very useful.
She's explaining that. Ithram is like,
Yeah.
You're asking me to sacrifice the people who have sent themselves here to live out the rest of their eternal undeath with me?
Maybe.
I'll ask them.
Okay.
I promise no answers.
Can I write to you?
Certainly.
Okay. Would it get to you? If I address a letter to you, do you get it like instantly?
Just write it in a book.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. This was most helpful.
He just
that line of
smiles.
question that line of questioning did bring up something though. Could you perhaps any other adventurers that you deem might be able to handle a few demons? Could any that enter, could you let them know of what's happening in Terra?
Certainly. If they ask.
Wonderful.
Can you just let them know, just in general, if they say they're from Charam?
We don't really have pamphlets.
But you could put like a thing on the front of your desk with some like informational pamphlets just available for anyone, about some sites to see nearby, social services, that if it's, like library stuff.
And this isn't a library, it's an archive.
No. Yeah, but you could still do that. I mean, it's your archive, so you can decide what it looks like. Please.
I'm fairly certain that Jack Salzbach, as we speak to him, can't know anything more than what exists in the archive. And I'm pretty certain his brain hasn't changed since he hit this point. Because I'm pretty certain the archive is his memory.
You remembered us.
Yeah, we're also written in the archive.
Mm-hmm. Can I make a donation?
Who visits gets written in.
Certainly, you
archives.
can make a donation to the archives.
Okay. Does someone have paper?
One moment.
As to say, if Ithram doesn't, Valdeth does.
I'm gonna make a pamphlet that says, "Hey, Taram isn't safe to visit right now. The firstborn has killed the God Emperor. There are demons running around. We're trying to do something about it. If you want to help,
call
please
555-5555.
I'm gonna put our address.
Please do not put our company house address on this pamphlet.
I'm gonna put our address.
Well, you put your address in the pamphlet.
Damn it.
Put our address.
We don't actually have an address. We just have a lot outside of Grifftop.
I'm gonna like describe our address. Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fold it up very nicely.
25 Dirt Road, Grifftop, Sinisca.
Yep. It's outside of the Grifftop, along the cliff.
Look for the big square house and the warehouse.
You realize that anyone who wants to know how to kill us or has any kind of grudge against us will be able to just find this thing and be able to go, oh, that's where I can find them.
I mean, they can also just ask around. We've sort of told people about it.
We actually haven't told people where to find our thing unless we are explicitly working with them.
I'll put this in a place of prominence, he says as he takes the pamphlet and puts it on his desk.
Like, the only people we tell where our specific base in Grifftop is are people who are friends and family or people we're working with.
Yes, but as I understand it, I'm family, so...
That's fair. In your case, anyway, but everyone else who walks into the archive.
When you're at the archive, you're family.
So, theoretically, if, like, Rhyhor the Lich were to show up and say, I want to find out where this group lives.
That's right there.
I feel
Wouldn't
like
have been
I feel like he would.
particular.
I feel like a lich of that power would not need my assistance to do so.
You're not wrong.
No, but still, anyone else, substitute Rhyhor for any enemy.
Valdeth losing sleep over the idea of bandits finding their home.
Yes, and then we'll destroy them because we're kind of powerful right now.
We also sleep.
We're basically gods.
Valdeth, I think you're being a little paranoid.
I don't like the idea of literally anyone being able to walk in here and know exactly where to find us.
Also,
I like the idea of people being able to find us if they need to find us.
also, Titania doesn't sleep.
Doesn't.
Tanya trances.
Now, Titania does drink herself into a stupor quite often, which, counts as
I
sleep.
haven't done that
but
in ages.
I haven't done that,
That
in
is
days.
same-
That
No,
is
that's the same.
abjectly untrue.
No, it's true. It's just this for the same reason that Valdeth can't do the rings. Hasn't had the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was not that long ago. I'm pretty sure it was just before you guys left for.
It's literally just before we
right.
left to go to Sinet to
Yeah,
No, it was
to
last
Terra.
night.
No, she drank a little, but she did not drink herself into a stupor last night.
No,
That's incorrect.
but it was absolutely just before you left to go kick Lich ass.
Yeah. But
That was like a week
Ages
and a
ago.
half.
ages. Literal ages. She has a very strange conception of time. It's okay.
also known as no conception of time.
It's fluid.
Gender conception of time. Wait, what?
Yeah. It's fluid. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So you have that now.
So, 5 of you leave the archive.
Indeed. All right. Do you have anything else that we need to do before we head off?
You can
I
al-
think we've
you
got
can always
everything
go
we're going to get.
do
I
a
think
run
it's
of
time.
Castle Mayhem.
Fuck that.
Uh-huh.
We'll save that for after the Lich.
See how far.
Unless the reward for clearing Castle Mayhem is an unconditional wish, fuck that.
Nope, it's bragging rights.
Yeah, it's a diploma.
Oh, that's not worth it.
It just says good job, buddy.
I
Did you get one?
I survived.
No, I died.
I survived Castle Mayhem, and all I got was this fucking certificate
Yeah.
and a
Do you
T-shirt.
at least get the certificate without crushing student debt, or do you have student debt too?
I mean, it costs a few hundred gold to get in.
That is the equivalent of crushing student debt for most non-adventuring fantasy citizens.
Remember, you guys built it.
To be fair, the people who are going through Castle Mayhem are supposed to be adventurers, so
It is a school for adventurers, and by school we mean Death Trap.
unlike traditional college, where the job that you can get with that experience will not pay off those student debts for many years. If you become an adventurer after learning from Castle Mayhem, you theoretically will make enough gold to pay that off relatively quickly.
Also, the gold's all due up front, so it's not really like you're taking a loan.
All we had was to pick up some reagents for more legend lore.
Also, to be fair, at least half of that gold is used as the diamond to revive you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we want to try and get some more things for a hero's feast
So,
or
you know,
something
Potions.
like that.
rather than buying books you'll never need again, at least you're buying a diamond that'll revive you.
Fair. So a little bit of supply gathering.
Yes.
Oh, well, I should pick up some a new set of clothes.
So do you go to shop around in Core, or are you going somewhere else to get supplies?
Here's probably
Yeah.
good.
Let's go back
Uh,
to Luxuria, where we can spend
No.
spend a month in the same day again.
Only if we find that thing again.
Just going to look for.
Ithram sees a monkey's paw flying through the air and goes, "Nope, nope, nope."
Disintegrate. No. I'm gonna go grab a couple charges for. Actually,
Do you have the money for
Yeah.
it? Because remember, Gent's broke again.
yeah. No, I have 600, so I could afford 2 charges of Legend Lore incense. So I will do that.
Well, Gant's not completely broke. He's just not as rich as he used to be.
Positively poverty-stricken.
He has more gold than I do, and I've got 5.5K.
Jesus.
Positively poverty-stricken.
I forgot how much I loved martial classes and how they are
Just stack gold, yeah.
Yes. So 2 of those.
It's not nearly as insane as how much gold a monk accumulates.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to figure out how much money my character has.
I'm gonna
I
buy
should do
another
that.
bowl for Hero's Feast.
Okay.
Like a monk spends money on literally fucking
Okay.
nothing, so
Okay.
it's like just have this stack of gold sitting around.
So that plus
5,500.
yeah, there you go.
5,515.
There you go.
Hey.
All right. So,
And another diamond for Revivify.
another diamond for Revivify, another bowl for Hero's Feast, and 2 castings of Legend Lore for Ithram.
Morgan is going to pick up a set of new cold weather clothing.
Okay.
Sized differently. And based off of everything that she learned at the Black Archive is looking for 2 things. One, for it to look weathered and not new,
Okay.
and 2, to be made out of materials and fit the general scheme of those frontier communities as close as possible.
So it'll look like just because you're an elf right now, it'll look like that.
Okay.
That's basically the style of the frontier towns.
Okay. But yeah, sized for human male.
Okay.
Valdeth would like to shore up her current cold weather clothing because she's pretty certain what she has will not be enough,
Yeah, you can do so.
especially once we start going underground.
All right. So I'm looking up the pricing here. Hang on. Player's Handbook.
Or are there trees up north? Was it all?
You don't know?
There were trees on that we know of on Sharkmouth Bay, but I doubt we'll find any trees in the border of Euskorva and Galidera.
That would be my question. Is how
You
if
don't know yet.
there's any? Okay,
You also haven't seen any of them, so
I don't know if they picked that up in their books at all.
yeah, because Valdez's cold weather gear was gotten for Eastfeld, and she's pretty certain Euskorva and the ruins there are going to be colder.
How much is it for potions of greater healing again?
It's 50, 100.
Would be 100 for those ones.
I think greater healing is 100.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get 3 potions of greater healing.
Okay.
I'm gonna grind up 25 of my gold.
All right.
The
So, the special special modifications to the clothes will make them 4 gold for this per set that you guys are getting.
Cool. I will get the set.
Both the unique cut that Morgan is getting and the reinforcements that Velveth's getting.
How much?
4 gold each.
Okay. Happily do.
Should get rope and climbing material as well.
Indeed. Yes. Plenty of that sort of
If we're going to be delving into ruins.
Climbers
Still
kit,
got
climbers kits of 25 gold. Rope is man, if you want hempen or silk, either 1 or 10 gold per 50 feet.
Actually, I have 100 feet of mithril chain. We should be good on climbing.
Mithril chain is metal in a cold climate.
It's still mithril though.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's metal
Yes.
in a cold climate.
It'll get very cold. Very quick.
You know what happens to warm flesh when it touches really cold metal?
Yeah, we've got gloves.
Just saying, if you're gonna be climbing chains, be aware of that.
I also have 50 foot of hempen rope, but I'm going to get an extra 100 foot of silk rope.
All right, so that's 20 gold. Anyone going for the 10-foot pole? The collapsible 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Also made out of metal, I'm assuming.
You can get it. A collapsible 10-foot pole. You can get it made out of metal or wood.
Yeah, metal.
Is it possible to sell any magic items here? Because I have no use for this dwarven thrower
Yeah, you can.
at the moment.
Yes, it is. I will remind you that the dwarven thrower is the symbol of authority for your homeland.
Oh right, no, the symbol of authority was the axe.
And the dwarven thrower.
Was it? Okay, never mind. I had forgotten what the dwarven thrower was. I thought it was a thing that I had found in the temple.
You can
Some
absolutely sell
random
it.
dude finds it, realizes what it is, buys it, and then marches into your hometown. I rule you.
You can absolutely sell it. What the repercussions will be, but I'm just letting you know now that it is the thing that was given to you by your king.
Never mind. That is still relevant then, even as a paperweight.
I mean, if you wanted to sell that dragon spine greatsword, you could do that.
It's currently my anti-fear tool is the only problem.
What are you afraid of? Fear?
Yes, literally. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Fear is the mind killer.
Exactly, and that thing stops me from feeling it. Also, if I really need to fly, I can attune to it and fly with it.
I can help with the fear thing.
Yeah, at the cost of 1,000 gold chalice a day.
No. I mean, you have to help, but I have protection from evil and good. You can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiend, and undead, potentially, for a first level spell.
Yeah, that's helpful, but that leaves a gap in, say, humanoids.
Dragons.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
dragons.
Yeah.
Golems.
Anything else that can inflict fear.
Constructs.
Sure.
Oozes.
Just don't be afraid.
Just don't fail your fear check, forehead. If it were me, I would simply roll higher. Anything else you're acquiring? Yeah, but yes, you can sell magic items if you so desire. If there's anybody that has things they want to sell.
If it were me, I would simply have 4 attunement slots.
Yeah.
What do you mean I can't fit 4 materia into this bracer?
It's not. It's not our fault you didn't choose to be an artificer.
It's true. Those levels in
I'm gonna sell my
Is that an
It's
artificer feature as extra
just a-
attunements?
Yes, as you at the higher levels, I think at the highest level you can attune to like 5 or 6 items.
Damn.
It's ridiculous. It's delightful.
More reasons why I want to play an artificer.
Uh-huh.
I'm just selling my regular sickle.
At 14th level, at 14th level you can
I get
attune
a
to up to
gold.
5 magic items at once. And you also ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements on attuning or using a magic item.
They get the rogue thing, but better. They get the thief
And then
ability.
at 18th level, they can attune up to 6 magic items at once.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, artificers, there are some it's balanced out by similar to bards. They're kind of jack of all tradey kind of.
Yeah, they don't get anything else at 18th and 15th level.
Yeah, like there's not a lot of stuff that they really truly excel at. Their spell list is fairly stunted. They're good fighters, but not great fighters, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, that magical item shit and like
this is why
a
I want to play.
homunculus best friend or an arcane cannon.
This is
yeah,
Fucking suit of power armor.
Suit of power armor that I integrate all of my magic abilities and magic items into.
or a mechanical pet.
Yeah. That pet can hold a wand. Let's go. Anyways, I really want to play an artificer. I don't get the chance to very often. Ever.
They're super dope.
I have so many ideas for artificers. God. You know how intricate I go into my spellcasting, William?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but with artificers.
Yeah, because that's a big part of it is how do you make your magic work? I had my favorite artificer I did was recently was a calligrapher.
Yeah. The one that I did for a one shot was a drow artificer that had, I think I've told the story before, but had like 2 of the spells he had prepared was web and grease. And so I had a web shooter on one wrist and a grease shooter on the other. And so it's like, web, you're all stuck. Grease, now you're covered in grease. Molotov cocktail. Ah, it was great. Anyways, so you gather your supplies. What next?
All right, Ithram. To
Already?
Sharkmoth.
Yep, Sharkmoth Bay. I will cast at 7th level, teleport to, I'll grab the rock that we have from it, cast teleport to Sharkmoth Bay.
All right. You have an item. You have an associated object, so you can't fail. Where on the bay were you trying to aim?
Say about 30 feet from the shore.
So you all...
on the beach, not in the water.
Okay.
I knew that I had to make that specification because you laughed.
on the eastern shore, I would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you wanted to say hi to your friends.
Can.
So on the eastern shore.
Ah, cold. Cold-blooded. You appear 30 feet from the edge of the water. It's cold.
Sun still kicks up.
And it's not as cold as it is, in the water, but it's still cold.
We can't really see Terra from where we are. We landed on the eastern shore, right?
Yeah, you're over here. You can see the rocky. You can't just in the distance. It's too far away for you to make out any details, but you can just in the distance through the fog make out sort of the rocky land mass that is Curva.
Mm-hmm. I think we were given like a conch shell or something. I vaguely remember, or like a shell we could use to contact.
Any shell, basically.
Okay. I'm gonna reach down and grab one and say hello.
Do you say anything other than hello?
It's the Steelhearts again with a new person, but the lich is gone. I don't know if you noticed. I can't tell from here. End message.
You
So
wait
to
for
make
a
it
few minutes.
easier, I don't have to be a new person.
No, you're a new person.
Okay, very well. Wanted to present the option.
Wait, would be
After a few moments, from one of the trees, yes, we had noticed. As stepping out of a tree, there is this large, light blue skinned, green haired Triton, dressed in, seaweed vines, conch shells, and a loincloth, basically. Walking with a staff you had not seen him walking with previously. The staff actually appears to be like a broken haft. It's like sort of a crooked. It's a crooked staff with a banner hanging off of it. That just seems broken off halfway down. But as he reaches out to put it down, like as if it was a full length staff, you see sort of the air twist and curl out of the bottom of it and touch the ground as if it was actually physically a staff. As he uses it to walk towards you.
That's good. Has it been regrowing?
From what we've noticed over the past little while, yes, life has begun to return to Exter.
Oh, good. This is, so I try and remember what your
Morgan right now.
Morgan. This is Morgan. And that's good to hear. The lich isn't completely gone yet. We're
on
going
our
to
way
go
to finish
find
the job.
the phylactery.
The islands have something they wish to bequeath you, daughter of the forest and mushrooms.
Oh. Okay.
As thanks for restoring one of their own. And he reaches out with that staff towards you.
I will tacitly take it.
As you grab it, you sort of feel this connection with nature, with the islands, with the sea, with the storms, with the air, with the clouds. This is an artifact that you would almost guess was created from nature. Hopefully it will serve you well.
Thank you. She'll give like a deep bow.
It has rested on this island for a long time. Its owner gave it up centuries ago for a peaceful life. But it is not an artifact designed for peace. So wield it well, but wield it carefully.
Thank you. I will.
There's a rustle of leaves in response.
You should also know there's been a disturbance to the south. It may not reach here for a while, but just in case. Look over it. Valda, the God Emperor of Taram has fallen. His son has killed him and taken the throne, along with an army of demons? Devils? Question mark? I can never remember the difference. Last we saw, they were confined to the city, but they may travel. So.
We shall keep an eye out then. Thank you for the warning.
You're welcome.
He steps back and just sort of leans back into that tree. Melts away.
Look up at the stick I'm holding. Okay, and cast Windwalk. Let's do this.
There is an item in your journal now.
Okay.
Under magic items.
Alrighty.
You should be able to find it. It'll be very obvious.
The Nimbus?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna read that. Anyway, I cast
Nimbus!
Windwalk.
All right. It takes you a minute. And
Yep.
You cast Windwalk. A group of you puff into clouds and fly off. It takes you the full length of the spell, but eventually you land. So here's the question. If you go straight towards the other side, you'll land it amongst the ruins. If you try to get to not ruins, you will run out above the water.
I think we're probably going to land amongst the ruins. I feel.
Or you either come out above the water or in Galadera.
The Geladarans don't want anybody fucking with their shit, and the ruins are where we need to go anyway.
Well, ideally, frontier towns are where you'd want to go first, but
I mean, yeah, if we're looking for someone who knows the way, we can stop at at this bottom corner of the ruins.
sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you fly. Eventually, as you feel the magic begin to wane, you come over. You find yourselves flying over a tangled nest of broken stone and steel and wood. Looking down below you, you see stretching beyond where the horizon bends, this endless mass of broken buildings. Ruins as far as the eye can see, ruins even deeper than the eye can see. Entrances like cave mouths dotting these structures. Bits of them falling off the cliff's edge as you approach it. You can see there are parts of the ruins in the water. Some of it looks like it was designed to be in the water. A lot of it looks like it wasn't. Like it just fell apart at the edge of the cliff and collapsed down. Many different styles of construction you see, although all reminiscent of a singular origin. And there's definitely the idea that these all originated from similar cultures, but took their own ideas on this design. It's a lot of Gothic brutalist architecture that's sort of collapsed in on itself. You land in what seems like a safe spot. Inside a building, you pass through an open window and land inside a building, finding yourselves in a half-flooded ruin. There is nothing but debris and cold and water damping the area, ice forming in icicles hanging from windows and from the long dead remains of tapestries. As you all reform, your breath remaining in this cloudy form as you do so. Even wearing the warmer clothes that some of you have, you shiver as more than cold permeates this area. Welcome to the Hive of Ruins.
So pleasant.
A little chilly.
Little bit. Do we want to travel south to see if, well, we could find one of these towns, or
We can certainly do that.
wait here a moment and I'll summon Shakar and set my hand up against a wall for a moment to steady myself, and just through his eyes go as high as I can and see if there's anything, which is 100 feet, see if I can get a good vantage on anything that seems inhabited.
Well, that's going on. Ithram goes catatonic for a minute. Morgan just starts unceremoniously just stripping off clothes to change into the clothing that she had made, or not made, but picked up.
Yeah. I think Mara's still reading, or Titania might have commented on that.
No, she's not going
Fair.
to.
Fair. And once it's all on, he is filling out to a fairly stocky human male form. Not stocky, more built. Sort of swarthy skin. Hair that is a little wild and ragged, like somebody who lives on the frontier situation. A goatee. Cracks his neck either way. All right. Mission.
Is your name still Morgan?
Marith. This one is Marith. I won't be able to pass as, and I wouldn't want to try because I haven't been here. As a local, these kinds of communities, I'm going to assume, are very, everybody knows everybody. You can't really insinuate yourself into them unless you can be somebody in particular. But hopefully they will at least be somewhat more predisposed to somebody who looks and acts like them and knows their ways.
I have questions. Cool.
I'm sure that you do.
So, Mara, really quick, while you're reading
Yep.
that stuff,
Mhm.
I'm going to point out the text of variant properties. You
Yes.
choose up to 3 of the
Okay.
properties that you qualify for every long rest after you attune to it, including the first one. So you
do
get
you
to,
have to-
so yeah, basically after a long rest, you get to
Mhm.
modify what it does each time.
Okay.
So long as you meet the prerequisites.
Mhm.
So like it can always act as a broom of flying. You can always add that in if you want it to.
Okay.
And then all the other things you meet all the prerequisites up to like the 13th level ones.
Mhm.
So like you can say, you could do like the 2 13th level ones and broom of flying, one long rest, and then the next long rest you could do, the 2 5th level ones and one of the 9th level ones, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like it's kind of like a magic item that can become multiple magic items as you
Mhm.
rest.
Mhm. Yep. Cool.
If you choose to attune to it.
Oh, heck yes.
It does require attunement, so.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. I can get rid of this wand of paralysis. It did nothing.
Wand of paralysis, you're gone!
So we're going to try and find a village now, or?
It depends on what Ithram finds, I suppose.
So, on her feet up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Go! Scream!
Sure, that's what owls made.
Woo! There
It's
is...
a teeny little flammulated one too, so it's a bunch of little teeny short claps. It's like
sees nothing. Like there's a dense fog surrounding these ruins. B, it's dark. C, there's just nothing nearby. Like, you're not seeing lights, you're not seeing villages, you're not seeing buildings.
smoke off in the distance.
No, nothing.
All right. He'll let Shakar start flying down by his own, and he'll come back to his senses and be like, well, we are definitely isolated. I could not see much of anything past this fog.
Okay. What time is it by this point? Because we, left in the morning. We spent some time, a fairly long time researching, though. It's, afternoon by this point? How close are we to...
no, you spent several hours researching, then you spent several hours flying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's night. Or almost night,
it's
right?
sundown. Yeah, it's past sundown at this point.
Shit.
Because it was an 8-hour flight to get to where you're at.
That's fair. I forgot about that bit.
Windwalk flag.
What?
I think bad jet lag joke.
No. I mean, I can windwalk us again to get, and then we can travel faster over to find a village or something. Since we can't see anything close. I don't really want to stay here. It feels weird here. Anyone else feel that?
Well, I do. We know that the ruins we're looking for aren't on this half of the stretch anyway, so let's not stay here any longer than we need to.
If you windwalk a second time and it takes you the full length, you will be beyond exhausted by the end of it.
That's fair. That's very fair. That's not great. We'll be really tired.
Tonight. Yes, we want to rest now and then spend most of the day traveling tomorrow.
That's probably wiser. We should set up watches, though.
We can also get a good distance. We don't have to go the entire 8 hours, but we can get a good distance away from this place. And Ithram, do you have the capacity to create the mansion at the moment?
I do.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
We don't have to rest out here in the frozen wastes. But I would recommend not resting anywhere near these ruins.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good plan. So we'll just go a little ways away. Alright. I will cast Windwalk again at 7th level.
Takes you a minute.
Yep.
Cast the spell. You all into clouds again. And begin to fly. Where are you going?
Probably next square over, away from the ruins.
Yeah.
Since 2 squares is a full 8-hour trip, just spend a few hours getting away from the ruins.
It takes you about 4 hours to get out of the ruins as you... Eventually, you find yourself stopping on a raised sort of snow... maybe it's a hill, maybe it's a snow dune. You can't really tell. But it's definitely more snow than hill. At this point, there is snow actively falling. With the wind, as the wind whips by, it feels like it's beginning to get to blizzard territory soon. It's even colder out here than it was in the ruins, mostly because the wind chill was cut by the ruins.
All right, let's not stay here very long, Ithram.
Yes. I will cast. I'll pick a spot away from the dune because if it's about to be a blizzard, don't want to be buried when snow ends. And cast at 8th level the mansion.
All right. What does the door look like this time?
This time, he's actually gotten. He likes the idea of what we did last time we were in the Lich's Tower. It's basically just it folds up, and we walk down into it.
All right. So it's a trapdoor.
Yep.
Trapdoor opens. You all go inside.
Yep.
All right. Door closes again. It's invisible from the outside.
And much warmer in here.
It's quickly covered in snow, so it's even more invisible from the outside now.
Yep.
What happens if you get snowed in from a Mordenkainen's mansion when it ends?
It
You just get
pops us
crushed?
into the nearest. No, it pops us into the nearest space unless we're buried like hundreds of feet below snow.
Yeah, like if you're buried under snow, like if an avalanche happens and you're just buried under a lot of snow.
Theoretically,
Let me
the theoretically it would say it says it drops you into the nearest unoccupied space.
Mm.
Is that
Yeah.
what it says, though?
There's the text in chat.
Expelled into the open spaces nearest to the entrance.
Yeah.
So
That
the
doesn't.
nearest.
It doesn't really. The spell description doesn't really expect the door to be buried.
No.
Yeah, but it does expect that there might be something around the space though, and it just like shoves you a few spaces away from it, but it doesn't really say.
Text as writ, I would say if you're opening it before the spell is ended, like you're gonna open it and there's
Snow.
And there's immediately snow
there's a
there.
bunch of snow, yeah. But you'd basically have to wait until the spell ends
And then it
to
would shunt you out,
get
or
forcibly
dig.
shunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or dig / burn your way out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also have shape water, so I could just make a tunnel. Worst case.
I could too.
Yeah.
All right.
Spell.
So you are in the mansion. Are you doing anything before going to sleep?
Yes, I'm going to. I have one spell slot left. What do we want to know more about, Uldur or Gavis? Actually, give me an hour, and we'll be able to figure out both.
Okay.
'Cause I can short rest before the long rest for arcane recovery. So yeah, I'll do that. And cast the first legend lore on Uldur.
Uldur.
Specifically, Uldur's capital
I mean, you
or seat of power.
yeah, you guys don't know Uldur.
Yeah.
Uldur was a massive civilization several thousand years ago that built itself up in what's known today as the Hive Kingdoms, or the Hive of Ruin. It built itself out of several other different kingdoms at the time that sort of collapsed together and then became the foundation for a new one. It gave rise to a fairly dictatorial kingdom with sort of what would be known as a mad tyrant at its head for most of its short life. The people were largely captives that were taken from other kingdoms in the various wars that happened throughout this area. And sort of the military is entirely made of conscripts and the like. The people that effectively it collapsed because with the aid of other rising kingdoms, the people within revolted and overthrew the king, burying him amidst the ruins somewhere. No one, like even legend lore isn't 100% certain what happened to the king of Uldur. population mostly human. At the time. The center of power was a throne room, which was the throne room was on the coast because the king the king basically liked to be able to look out over the water as he sat on his throne. But the nation as a nation expanded much further than that, obviously.
And then after another hour rest on using Arcane Recovery, I'll cast it Legend Lore again, this time on Gavis the Necromancer.
Gavis the Necromancer was a magical conscript in the military of Uldur, stolen away from his home thanks to his magical abilities, and taught necromancy at the hands of the war mages of Uldur. He played a major part in the revolt and assassination of the king of Uldur, and used that as a chance to escape from the lands and flee south. As he fled south, he actually banded together with a number of other people who escaped from the Hive Kingdoms and formed an adventuring party that was known for the color of their cloaks that they had taken from the military of Uldur, whose primary color was blue, sort of a deep blue that they sort of used to disguise themselves in order to kill the king and then flee. Using that color as sort of a symbol, they dedicated themselves to righting wrongs throughout the land and making the world a better place than the kingdom that they had left.
One of the founders of the Azure Legion, I'm guessing.
The legend lore doesn't explicitly say that, but you could surmise.
Okay.
He went on to have a very successful career as an adventurer. Traveling south, he had a bit of he fell in love with and was spurned by a world-renowned musician who was native of Avalon to the south, and he disappeared sometime around his 32nd birthday, and no one knows where or how. Or why?
Okay. Is the homeland that he was taken from in the general Uldur Empire?
Yeah, it was one of the
boundaries that we already have.
Yeah, it was within the ruins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we knew that association because we knew that the place, I forget how we found it, but the place of his phylactery was established as being in the birthplace of the Azure Legion.
No, it was in his homeland specifically, not the birthplace of the Azure Legion.
I know there was a connection with the Azure Legion and him at one point. That was
it was it was his homeland, which you might find if you look into the origins of the Azure Legion.
Oh,
there we go.
Because the Azure Legion originated from this area, was what you were told.
Okay.
And their origins were something they were ashamed that they would be ashamed of, according to Galadir.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'll share all that as I learn it through the spell.
Wow.
Well, that sounds like a fit.
That certainly coincides with all the information we've earned from Galadir.
And he ended up as a lich.
One doesn't end up as a lich. It is something you pursue. But the reason why that is confusing.
What? Going for lichdom because he got rejected by a girl? Sounds like this kind of stupid thing that someone would do to me.
If that is the reason, that why would they? There was a secondary lich at the fortress annexed there that may have been the Spurn magician or the Spurn musician.
Or may just be intended to look like that. I don't know.
That is wrong.
I mean,
It could
Probably
also be
know a
that
little bit
musician
more.
not of her own will.
yes, that sounds very much like a thing a lich would do if they decided to become a lich because they got, for lack of a better term, friend zone.
That's the second phylactery we'll have to find then.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully they're nearby.
If Rihor or Gavis, whatever you want to call it, did that to an individual as a measure of control over them, then they would probably keep the phylactery nearby. So
Yeah.
that's fucking necromancers. Not all necromancers, but Jesus. They fucking go
Gonna
hard. They
say
go hard.
that's
I know
my
you
mother
practice
and
that.
I.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's why I said. But fuck, when they decide to, I don't know, scorch the earth, fucking go hard.
I mean, to be fair, necromancers do not have ownership
Positive.
of the idea of my feelings got hurt, so I'm going to burn the world.
That's fair.
Just look at evocation wizards.
But I say, literally burn the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can what? I have enough magical power to incinerate this small town I grew up in.
Oh boy.
Spirits, lend me your power.
It's like, hi, I'm going to stand right here in the middle of this place, and I'm going to cast a meteor swarm and cover everything in the nearest mile in fucking ash and fire.
And walk out. Because it won't affect me.
Do we need to set a watch, or should we?
I can have the servants, if anything untoward happens, they can alert us.
Okay. All right.
Follow this
Good
floating
night.
ribbon. Follow this floating ribbon. You're different now. What is your name now? You changed while I was a bird.
Meredith. Sorry, Meredith
Meredith.
Han.
Right. All right. Meredith, if you follow this floating ribbon, it will direct you to the nearest room that you can sleep in.
Delightful.
All right.
And it will be outside your door. If you perhaps find yourself hungry, it will lead you to the kitchen and or mess.
So quite convenient. Thank you, Ithram.
You're welcome.
Titania hurries away to her room.
Yep, and I'm noting where the ribbon goes. Just for purposes later. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it pretty much the same setup that we had back in.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you probably beat it to like you're like catching up to the ribbon and just like, oh, come on.
Yep.
But yeah.
Sorry about this. You were being kind of paranoid, though. You were.
Yeah,
I get it.
I don't think it's paranoia when something is actively out to get you.
Mm-hmm. Things were out to get us before, though. I mean, we had like the.
It's still paranoia. It's just justified paranoia.
Yeah. when I read up about Ternalian, he seems kind of arrogant and like I don't think he will consider us a threat, or not for a while.
Maybe not, but let's not be arrogant ourselves and assume that no one can come to us and attack us.
No. But so we've got Merrick's plan. And kind of all that.
Also, side note,
Hmm?
if we're not there and someone with a grudge against us comes over there, the people that are there are my retainers.
Yes, and the people we've talked to and made our agreements with. Mhm.
Kill you
So-
and all your loved ones.
The people that are in danger most by giving our house away are the people who are there when we're gone.
I've been growing this plant. She pulls out the flower pot of awakening, which has been, I don't know how long it's been exactly. I think I planted that
week.
before. Okay, it's ridiculously short time frame.
Because you guys keep pushing forward.
I know.
It's almost
I've
like
been
things keep happening.
Yeah.
You keep teleporting, which bypasses a lot of the time it takes. Teleporting and wind walking.
And I think you're forgetting. I've got this, so I was thinking I was going to plant that, and that might be a nice defense thing. Just, if
flower?
anything. It's poison ivy.
A walking poison ivy.
Not walking, but it can grab things.
It doesn't even walk.
I think you're underestimating the plants.
Oh, I don't
Also-
underestimate plants in general. However, a single poison ivy.
Okay. It'll grow. Also, my family is literally right across the road now.
That's certainly an improvement still.
So if anyone's going to, try and attack our home, they'll notice.
That's certainly an improvement. I still don't like inviting trouble to our doorstep.
I know. But I think if we can get some people on our side for whatever we're going to end up doing.
Every time you get back home, there's a new undead gardener in your mom's yard.
There might be, yeah. That's fine. Then it might be worth it. I don't know. Speaking of, I'm gonna go talk to Merith. I'm curious.
Going to do an interrogation.
No. That sounds really formal. I'm just gonna talk. I might find out some stuff.
I don't
But,
like that
like-
term for what I'm going to do, so I'm going to call it something else.
Are you going to attune to your staff at all?
Yes, I am.
Because that takes a while.
Yeah, but I've been attuning to it. I don't know how long it takes.
It takes
Anyway.
an hour of concentration while you're
Okay.
resting. You haven't had time
Alright.
to really fully attune to it yet.
Okay, I'm gonna wait
You
on
have to
attuning
wait.
until after, because
Okay.
we're gonna have a full night's rest, and then I'll be fine.
Okay.
Having to get all the time to attune to it.
Cool. So,
I just
Yep.
want to say I had to take a short rest to get my spell slot back to cast Legend Lore again.
Yeah, would that have been enough time to
okay,
attune
yeah,
to it?
yeah, you would have had. So rolling
Okay.
back slightly then, if you were
Yeah.
doing that then.
Mhm.
As you attune to the staff, you suddenly feel you would have felt your senses expand. It feels being attuned to the staff feels very similar to when you're communing with the land,
Mm.
except all the time, so long as it's on your
Wow.
person. You sort of have this sense of the surrounding area of not a great distance, not to the effect of communing with nature, But
Mhm.
like you feel like at any moment you could blink and you'd be in the sky, or you'd blink and you'd be
Yeah.
underground, very nearby.
Presumably that's only of the the pocket dimension we're in right now.
Well, I
So-
mean, wherever you are, but yeah, like
Okay.
you just have this feeling of this expanded oneness with nature and with the surroundings, and you feel like you have a little bit more of an understanding of how the nearby environment feels.
Cool. The staff is very neat. Yeah, I might be trying to interrogate. It's
And you say I'm the one who's paranoid.
yeah, I'm trying to fight against that, but it was wrong in the castle.
To be fair, there are reasons it would be wrong in there.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious how Marith met him and why and stuff. So I don't know. I like to know the people I'm traveling with.
Look, there's only one way to get these fucking tight-lipped assholes to talk about their backstory, and that's if I ask.
Yeah, pretty much. And she'll give you a kiss on the cheek and head out.
Return it.
Knock on the door.
Knock on the
And,
flap.
Hello.
oh, hello.
I wanted to
Everything
ask.
okay?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Sorry.
it's fine. Since you have the new form, what are your pronouns?
Marith is he, him.
Okay. Okay. So do you like? Because I've never met another shapeshifter before. This is kind of cool.
Fair. No.
He'll turn rapidly into a puppy and wander around very excitedly and back and sit down.
Yes, that is. It's a little different from that, but
Uh-huh.
I do appreciate.
So you only do like
the-
humanoid shapes?
Yes. I don't know how familiar you are with, let's say, my people, changelings.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because doppelgangers or something. I'm not entirely sure for the difference. I'll be honest. I skipped that class.
It's a long story, but the gist of it is, if you were to see we are as far removed from change or from doppelgangers as a tiefling would be from a Cambion.
Okay.
Essentially.
That makes sense. Sorry for mistaking you then.
No problem. You are fine.
I did have a question.
I'm sure that you did.
I did. I'm a
I've
little
been curious if you were going. I've been curious, to be honest, when this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Ask away.
When did you meet, or like how did you meet Galadir?
Ooh, I'm qualified for $1,000 credit line.
Congrats.
I like to think
Let's
that
see.
was in character. Like that was just the answer.
As Meredith is just opening his mail. When?
Yeah, and like how? I don't know.
The
Kind of remote, you know.
it's been a while. The how is I sought him out as the short version.
Okay.
The longer version is I was looking for someone to help me with something. And there were several potential options for the kind of help I was looking for. But essentially they broke down to really bad option 1, demonically bad option 2, outer realm bad option 3, or let's be generous and say morally flexible wizard.
Morally
Okay option.
morally fluid wizard.
Who would be
You're a
the
warlock.
okay option? That's probably the closest approximation that you could find, yes. I wanted power. He had some to spare. It's a deal that works very well.
Huh. How long ago was that?
5-6 years.
And in return, he sends you to like
I do
stuff like
things
us.
that, yeah, okay, I will get, hey, this place needs, you need to go to this place and do this thing. And then I'll be like, fuck you, why? And then we'll be back and forth. Eventually I'll go there because, it's not something that's necessarily that I'm morally opposed to. Yeah.
Did he fix your problem?
Yes.
Can I insight check?
Sure.
Okay.
Insight check away.
Sweet. I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
Why not?
Because it's not like you'll need it for anything other than talking to other people.
Nah, I like to use it now.
I
22.
feel like instinctually I should be rolling deception, even though I don't think that it's being particularly deceptive at the moment.
What's your passive deception?
My passive deception would be 20.
So yeah, that beats it.
Yep.
That'll be your instinctual deception rather than rolling deception.
Yeah,
you're not
fair.
actively deceiving. You're passively deceiving.
Yes, they're not actively trying to lie. It's just it's just in their nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 22 does beat your beat the DC of your passive deception.
They are being pretty frank.
Okay.
Like, this is how they see the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here. You're not a big fan of somebody, are you?
No.
That's fair. He's an asshole. But he's a very useful asshole. To the best that I've seen at this point, he doesn't have anything horribly evil. Well, he's not planning on destroying the world that I am aware of, at least. Although I always keep the option open that might change.
Would you say otherwise if he did?
Absolutely. Do you trust that I would?
I don't know yet.
That's
I
the
just met you. It's
complexity.
been like 2 days.
That's the complexity of the situation that we're in.
Hmm.
I derive my power from somebody that you don't trust, and there are certain obligations that you are aware that probably come with claiming that power, and
My
so that
uncle
kind
used
of
to have
trust would be needed.
warlocks.
That doesn't surprise me, seeing who your family is. I thought about that, but I don't know. It seemed a little cliche, changeling and fae. Like,
Oh, you know my uncle.
I do now. I didn't know them then. And let's be honest, and I say this with absolutely no disrespect. I say this with all respect in the world for the fae. They're not any more trustworthy than
Technically, it's your grandfather, not your uncle.
Grandfather. Oh, yeah. She would have said grandfather.
Mm.
That's my fault. Okay.
they're not any more trustworthy than a crazy ass asshole maid stuck in a room.
No.
So it was really like, which one? Well, this one I can potentially get to a little bit easier. And I'm not an elf, so I don't have thousands of years to see if I can open up a gate to a plane where that I can't do because I don't have any magical power. So maybe I can find somebody who's like, if I had run into you before all of this, that would have solved a lot of problems for me. Instead, I found out about him, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see eye to eye on everything.
No.
We don't see eye to eye on as many things as I would say that he and I don't see eye to eye on as many things as we do see eye to eye on.
Well, thanks. That was really helpful. I'm glad you answered those for me. It
Here
helped.
to help.
Of course. She'll reach out her hand like a handshake.
Okay,
Like the
I'm
phrase, like a
definitely gonna
handshake.
incite this shit
Like a handshake?
because that in my head, that was a really sudden turnaround for somebody who has clearly displayed trust issues here.
Yeah.
Also, when you there's
Well,
also a
that just happened.
She's offering you a handshake.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will take the offered hand.
Cool. She'll shake your hand. Her hand is very cold.
Okay.
And then she teleports using face step slightly just very close to you. Make a wisdom save, please.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm very actually no. Wisdom is actually a good save because unlike my last character, that's a proficiency save.
Yeah.
26.
Oh, you're good.
So
she was trying to frighten you.
Titania, as you do that,
yeah,
you blink and you reappear and you're like, "Ha, gonna get you," and you can't see anything.
Shit.
It's dark.
Okay.
And you're cold.
Okay.
And from the darkness, a light just sort of illuminates a chair.
Cool.
And from the chair, you're looking at the back of it. You're not looking at the front of it.
Uh-huh.
From the chair, you just hear, "I would suggest not spurning the help I offer." And you're back next to the name I can't remember because it's the third one now. Marith.
Yeah.
Marith,
have fun with this whole thing, by the way.
Marith, you just saw her blink and then appear next to you.
Mm-hmm. She looks, well, I don't know. I'll make a roll to see if you would figure this out. I mean, roll deception. Or could I make an, no, deception makes sense. Yeah, no, she's shaken. beautiful. I love these rolls. They're great.
So something happened between her teleporting
Something happened.
that terrified her.
But she just says, very quietly, just, this is my family here, and I'm going to protect them. And I'm pretty powerful.
Well, you should.
The upward inflection is great.
Yeah.
I absolutely understand that and I respect it. While I'm saying that, in your head,
Yeah.
you hear, "Are you all right?"
Can I reply back?
I believe so.
Inside?
Hold on. Let me check and see.
Okay.
I just have to. God dang it.
The best part about when warlocks succeed their saving throws, it's not because of them that they succeed their saving throws.
Well, not always anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, you can receive and respond. So yes.
Okay. There's just a string of very colorful expletives, and then fucking Gallagher.
And yeah, so as is continue on, I understand you're going. You have a lot going on right now, and I respect the fact that that you're willing to engage with me on this level. So blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, yeah, he's a bit of a dick, like I said.
Thanks.
Yes. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about him.
And on that note, we'll end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.